And we are live. Hey, everybody, you're in the right spot. It's the pre-show here. Getting ready for the hour ahead. We've got a great show here with a conversation on something that you guys care a lot about. AI, data centers, the rising tide against data centers in the country doesn't seem to bother the administration, who is so bullish about the future of technology. But even now, some of President Trump's supporters protesting outside of rallies he's having, including one recently in Michigan, where some of his folks who support him on every other issue were outside saying, hey, you're wrong on this one. We get into it with Latino Climate Power en Acción. They've got some new polling about Latinos and constituents voting and how they feel about data centers in their backyard. Plus, you may have seen it on our social media, Instagram, Facebook, a newlywed taken into custody 1 week after he celebrates his wedding celebration. He was a legal asylum seeker. Why is Nelson in custody right now? His wife, Ariel, joins us on the back half of the show. Let's get things kicked off here. Hey everyone, it's Nick. How are you? You're in the right place here. I wanted to always do this before the show, but I like this round of applause. We'll start it out that way. A little cheeky today. Good to see you. It's Tuesday. We're starting a new week here out with a brand new show, and we're focused on something that you guys have shown a tremendous desire to know more about. Same here, me too. AI is becoming inextricably linked in our lives. What can we do about it? Data centers are something that we didn't even have a water cooler conversation about last year, and now it's quite literally the topic of conversation when it comes to our water. Some people say that they're found different ways to maintain these data centers, which are fueling our obsession with AI, our latest craze here. Just a couple of years ago, we didn't care. We weren't using it. And now it seems like we can't be without it, or at least that's what the Trump administration wants us to believe. And what we're seeing now are even some of his supporters and people that agree on every other issue that he's pushing forward are protesting at his own rallies in Michigan that happened, according to the New York Times. And so we're going to get into that conversation, all of that, plus ahead, we have a conversation with the wife whose husband was taken into custody by ICE a week after they celebrated their wedding. Did you guys see this story here? It's posted on our Instagram here. Nelson came to the U.S. in 2022, legal asylum seeker. His wife, Ariel, gave an interview. They met volunteering at a local food pantry. These are the kinds of people that are being currently held by ICE in private prisons, mostly for a buck, right? She says they have complied and he complied with all the instruction provided by immigration authorities since his arrival. I asked her, what's it like now, 40 days into being this newlywed? It's almost like I didn't even feel like I got married because so much has happened since. I feel like it happened to somebody else. That's what she told me. It's a nightmare. It really is. We're going to talk to her directly, as well as Ashley D'acevedo, friend of the show with American Families United. She's involved in this, and love to have her on the show. I want to we're going to talk to Dr. Deval Desai, our chief medical correspondent, but I wanted to play for you this recording here. Is it this? Let me see here. Do I have the right clip? I run this show myself, guys, so bear with me here. Is it this clip? Do I have it right? Yeah, this is it.
It's in that high 58s, 59s to 60s.
Do you hear that? That's not static on my stream or interference. Let me re-rack the tape here. This is a clip from a data center. 24/7, 30 megawatts, amplification of sound. This is what somebody
You can see it's in that
captured from the front porch.
high 58s, 59s to 60s.
Are you guys okay with that? I don't know, man. That's so crazy to me, and it's so unhealthy Dr. Deval Desai, Chief Medical Correspondent for NVN, joins us live now. Dr. Desai, before we get into the conversation, had you seen that before?
I'd never seen that. I am shocked with you. I'm learning with you, reacting in real time with you. That is loud. That is, look, I've heard about data centers all along. And frankly, maybe it was a little naive to see what they are really doing. And that type of sound, living near it, experiencing it, not only is it not healthy for your ears, but for our neurologic system also, our neurons, we're just going to be constantly firing on edge. The stress level is high. This is not a residential area that you would want to live in.
No, and it's like, this is the topic of conversation at basically every rural local meeting now. It's this. Listen to this.
24/7.
That's 24/7.
Not coming and going. It's constant. Right?
It's constant, right? This is what it is, constant. That's not like when you Google what's the capital of China and it gives you Hong Kong, a wrong answer, right? And it's like, oh, let me drink some more water before I give you the right answer. This is what's going on, this constant hum. I think of, maybe I'm being dramatic here. What do they call it? Tinnitus, when you have like that ringing in your ear?
Tinnitus, yeah. Tinnitus is the technical pronunciation, but that constant buzzing and ringing in your ear, by the way, which is very debilitating for any patient who has that. And I empathize with that, but that is loud. And now I understand that argument more and more.
Get in the chat here, guys. Cynthia Patton, Bye Bye Wildlife. Yeah, I mean, I think about this movie that my kids are watching about how these wildlife, they're being sent away by this like frequency that's being put up by developers. I mean, that's a storyline. This is a reality of what people are facing here. And we wanted to talk more about this with Latino Climate Power in Acción. Antonieta Cadiz, the executive director. I got that out here. She joins us now live with some new polling here. I want to get right into it here. You're alongside our chief medical correspondent. What are some of the concerns that you have?
Well, great to see you, Nick, and thank you so much for the invitation. I live here in Texas, in Katy, Texas, and this has been a huge concern for the whole state and for the community. If you see the numbers, for example, from all the data centers that are planned in the United States, Texas is one of the states that is leading in terms of the number planned for the state of Texas. It's around 53 that are going to be built in the near future. And this is going so fast that
53 just in Texas alone.
Just in Texas alone.
Wow.
And this has been, along with affordability, this has been the conversation in the state of Texas. Now we have the Talarico and Paxton race here, and people all over the community, we are concerned about data centers because you saw like the noise there is unbearable first. And then
I mean, it's worth replaying again here. Let's just play it for the audience just joining us here. This is what people living around data centers are going to have to get used to. Listen to this. I feel like I should just have that on loop to remind people of what they're voting for when they say okay, or what they're doing when they use AI. You have some new polling out here from your organization here saying 59% of Latino voters say data centers should be required to run on clean energy, even if it slows down construction. So people are starting, I mean, this basically tells me that they're okay with living with this in the future if they're just saying, oh, well, we need to run it on clean energy. What's the polling you have there?
No, in our poll, we also saw that by a big margin, the majority of Latinos think that data centers should not be placed in areas near where people live. But unfortunately, that is what is happening. We also released a new tracker with this poll. Climate Power released a new tracker. And what we are seeing right now is that the majority of the data centers, it's 1/3 of the data centers that are being built or are planned in the US are located in areas where people of color live.
Of course.
And this is a huge concern, Nick, because when you think about air pollution, these are not communities that they live with clean air all their lives. These are communities that are already sick by air pollution. And now you go and build a big data center like the one Amazon is planning here in Texas in Pecos County. They are supposed to release 33 million tons of carbon dioxide a year. a year.
Yeah, beyond the noise pollution, you actually have real pollution. Dr. Deval Desai, Chief Medical
Yeah.
Correspondent for NVN, you think about the public health risk. You're talking about these communities that are already going through tons of vulnerabilities, disparities. What do you think about?
Yeah, this is very eye-opening, Antonetta. Thank you for that. You know, it's a problem, and we're seeing this, and I'm seeing now in real time what this means for these communities. Look, we see that our minority communities, they have higher morbidity with conditions like asthma, diabetes, immunocompromised, and oftentimes they don't have access to healthcare in the time that they need, and they are forced to either wait till they get really sick or not have access right away. But what it comes down to is this is not a value add from a public health standpoint to the community there. And with the carbon dioxide coming out, everything that you're saying, it is going to create dirty air. And what does dirty air do for a community? We know it is going to be toxic and create a rip-roaring of downstream effects. And as I said before in other episodes, good health starts in the community. And this is not looking like a setup for good health.
No, this is not good health. Listen. I'm sorry, man, but I'm going to keep replaying that because that is
keep replaying
insane. That's insane that people are going to be expected to live next to this. Antonietta, what can we do about this? That's part of the thing. I don't want to just be outraged that it's happening. You're saying dozens are being proposed just in Texas. What can be done right now? Give us a remedy.
They need to be accountable. Look, the AI revolution, we are experiencing it. The majority of Americans, they are using AI. This is here to stay. But big tech companies need to be accountable. Otherwise, this is extraction for our communities. So they need to be accountable by where do they build these data centers? They need to be in places where, for example, noise pollution do not affect the communities where they live, do not affect people. Then they need
animals, wildlife. You think about nature. You think about that. Disrupting the environment that we live around, thinking that we don't make an impact. And now we're basically giving our lives away to AI. I want to tell you guys something that I learned just this week. A friend of mine who was making $200,000 a year as a designer just got called in with the rest of his team, and he was laid off because AI is replacing his job. Why? Because they're okay with stuff like this here. This is these data centers that are fueling AI. Noise pollution like this. Absolutely nails on a chalkboard, and it's replacing real life jobs. It's not just having this public health, not just impact on public health, but it's also real life pocketbook.
And Nick, the problem is that this president right now, he has given a blank check to big tech to do this. Yeah. That is
They're some of his biggest donors.
And it's big oil and big tech, the biggest donors that Trump has. And he has returned the favor by, lifting every regulation there is so they can pollute without accountability. And we are here to say we are not going to allow that to happen.
And you're seeing the polling from your organization, Latino Power, Climate and Acción. The polling here, let me get rid of this video here. I'm sorry about that. Remove that, and I'll show you the latest poll here. 59% of Latinos have a negative perception of data centers. They think they should be required to run on clean energy, but that doesn't mean that it's sort of nothing that can be done. There are town hall meetings, local meetings that are being held right now. People are voting on this, but we're also seeing, and I bring this up here to Dr. Deval Desai, you're seeing these communities that are being basically held hostage by lawyers. And they can't do anything because these small towns that don't have the big city budgets are going to meet these big attorneys. And now how are they going to resolve this? How are they going to navigate this, knowing that their children are going to grow up in and around these facilities? What are people supposed to do? This is going to displace people. It's going to cause further poverty by job loss. And this idea that it actually helps people by hiring or creating local jobs, that's a farce. We never see people actually get these jobs that are supposedly going to be offered or made by these data centers.
This is eye-opening because, look, I will be honest, I use AI. I've used the ChatGPTs. I think most of us do these days, and it's going faster than we know. I guess the question I ask myself, and we ask all of us with Antonieta, is what can we do, number one? And we know, as you said, Antonieta, the AI revolution is here to stay, but what is the solution here? How do we do this in a place where there's no disruption to human life, animal life, that sort of thing? And does that place even exist? And I'm asking this rhetorically because I don't have the answer to that, but it's something that's very problematic. But I certainly stand against the communities being ravaged by not only that noise, but the other effects of this type of development that's really going to ravage a community. And I would not have known that unless we're having this conversation today.
And let's remember something, like, for example, in case of companies like Amazon, only 7 years ago, they were signing the climate pledge. They were saying that they carbon neutral by 2040. And now they are planning to open the power plant, that the most polluting power plant in the history of the United States. Where is the commitment? Amazon, where is the commitment? Where is the climate pledge right now?
It's all fickle. It is all sort of fair weather. It depends on the administration. It depends who is in power, what administration can do what. I want to talk to you guys about flock cameras. We've talked a lot about data centers. Part of my audience really cares a lot about flock cameras. They see this. Guys, get in the chat, please, here. Natalie Hernandez, always in the chat, hyping us up. She's talking about what she saw a video of Anna, Texas. Flock cameras facing kids' splash pads at a park. What could possibly be the reason for that? These sort of general assessments of what we're going through. Patty Tyler Engelstein, sad face, right? I want to play you guys a report about a flock camera that popped up on a running route that I've been using for 6 years. All of a sudden, this is what I see.
Can't get rid of them, man. On my run, it's like they're following me. Seeing these everywhere. Rural Texas, Louisiana, all over Georgia. Those are flock cameras, guys. I'll stop and film these every single time. Look at this. Turn the camera around. It's recorded me as I'm recording it. That's it. And everybody that comes through this road right here, like this car, boom, recording right there, see? And they say they don't share the information, or that they just get flock leader. Sounds like a cult. I remember the flock leadership was recently on an interview saying that they only capture a photo of the license plate, but what happens if you have like a political sticker on the back, or what happens if you have a personalized license plate? I mean, there's so many ways to find out who you are, or leak your privacy, or make you less safe, while telling everybody that it's making you more safe.
That's the thing that bothers me, is that all of this is being done under the premise that it's being, making us more safe, that there's more eyeballs out there. You have people like Larry Ellison, who own these social media companies, who are part of the oligarchs of AI and technology that are raking in money. And they're like, look, we're going to have a society and live in a world where you're going to be under surveillance 24/7, and you're just going to have to get used to it. You have people like Sam Altman who are saying, get used to these luxuries that you have in life. You're going to have all sorts of luxuries. AI is going to create a world for you where you're not going to desire or want for anything, but you're going to be watched 24/7. It's going to be like an episode of The Truman Show. If you're just joining us here, we're having a conversation on the expansion of data centers in the United States here. We have, just after this, a very troubling story about ICE's latest detention of a newlywed. But joining us right now, Dr. Deval Desai, Chief Medical Correspondent for NVN, talking to us about the public health consequences of these data centers, and Antonieta Cadiz, who is with Latino Power, Climate, and Acción. They are a Latino advocacy group sounding the alarm on the spread of data centers, where Antonieta right now is in Texas. Nearly 50 or more are being proposed to be built. Give us your take here as we talk a little bit more about flock cameras and that report that you just saw there.
Nick, we just discussed the impact in terms of noise pollution. We discussed the impact in terms of utility costs, water usage. We discussed air pollution. But we also mentioned here emissions. I mean, these data centers are big polluters to this planet. And for me in particular, and the organization that I represent, this is not a joke. This is a serious problem. the climate crisis,
Yeah.
we like in Texas, how many days of extreme heat we had already this summer? It's still,
You
we
have
still
problems with your state grid. Your electrical grid goes kaput, you know. And this here, right here, from Sharon Dunton, a friend of mine from Society of Professional Journalists. What about the water used to cool these data centers? How will it affect aqueducts and personal wells? Is this part of any of your research or your studies that you're doing? And then we'll get Dr. Desai's take after this.
we talk specifically with Latino voters about energy use, utility cost, and water usage, and they are concerned. The majority of Latinos in the country are concerned because they feel that water is going to be scarce. In a state like Texas, we are already seeing this. In Corpus Christi, for example, we are running out of water. And in terms of utility costs, I mean, if you review your energy, your electricity bill every month, please be aware of, because data centers, there is a huge risk that your utility bill will increase with data centers.
Yeah, and it's not like the output is getting any better. I feel like it's getting worse, Dr. Desai. I admittedly also have used AI, and in fact, I don't use it to write full articles, but I use it to sort of help me sketch things out. And it's gotten the quality of what it gives me has degenerated. It's gone down. And I even switched from ChatGPT to Claude. I don't rely on it. I think I'm a better writer than AI is ever going to give me, you know, a prompt or whatever, you know. What are you worried about in the future when it comes to a public health perspective as we become normalized to this expansion?
You know, I want to talk about flock cameras. You know, you brought it up and the public health ramifications of it. You know, I wonder, so let's say I'm going to see my psychiatrist to focus on my mental health. That is a very private journey for me. Knowing a flock camera is going to know I was there and track me when I was there, and somebody have that data point. When is that going to be used against me? We as a physician are already feel barriers to seeking mental health. This is one small example in a very privileged situation for me that would take that away. But what about those that are seeking mental health care, GYN care, women's health issues, and need privacy? All of the things that people are scared to go, in the sense because they are being monitored and they are being tracked. Look,
we just saw a guy get arrested for fucking buying weed in Michigan and bringing it back to, I think, Texas, or to a state that it's not allowed statewide.
Was that based on flock camera, like flock camera tracking?
Flock cameras.
So they saw it and they found him across the state and did that. Interesting.
They alleged that he had some other stuff going on. They used it to pop him for other cases that, you know, but it's like profiling that we see out with cops, where the broken window theory, or they go after something hanging in your, you know, it's like that's how it's being used. And it's okay because they say, I'm not the evil mad scientist behind it. It's just, it's getting away from us, man.
It's totally getting away from us, and then trust is going to get away from us, and then patient confidentiality. We strive on that. That's one of the value. There's national laws called HIPAA related to all of this, but this is all at risk with this. And I think it's growing faster than anybody has control over. So having this conversation is at least one step to doing that. But there are real serious public health ramifications to flock cameras. And it is, frankly, it's scary.
And we live in the most surveilled city in America, Atlanta.
You said that to me before, and I can't fathom that. I really can't.
Just look at this. Look at this. I'm going to show you how. This is the camera. You go to dflock.org, type in your zip code, type in your city, look at the East Coast. That's all where the flock cameras are. Look at Atlanta. That's just the city, Metro City. You keep zooming in, you zoom in. It's being used to stalk women. It's being used in bad faith by law enforcement officials. It's being used to spy on kids. It's being used to make trumped up arrests. It's being used to destroy our clean water with data centers. There's a whole through line in all of this. It's just not good. I'm so grateful.
Who has access to the flock camera data? Do we know that? Is that transparent?
We do. We know that, you know, and I've been doing some investigating into this. Walmart quietly helped fund these expansion of flock cameras through Police Foundation community grants. They gave money to Police Foundation specifically for the usage of these flock cameras. The data is up for grabs now. As we become more of these data clearinghouses, HOAs will sell neighborhoods on saying, hey, let's put a flock camera, catches a criminal real quick. Oh, by the way, they're not telling you that the data that's being used every time they swipe your license plate, that's being stored in that Ring camera thing with the solar panel, it gets shared with the federal agencies. It's no mistake why we saw an uptick in immigration arrests in and around Home Depots, Hobby Lobbies, Sam's Clubs, Walmart, all of these places. It's all interconnected, which is why people like this who are talking about it being a, I don't know here, what does this person say, that all the people that care about this are liberals or something like that? Yeah, you're a liberal if you, it's so dumb. It's such a short-sighted, simple-minded argument to say that it only is going to impact liberals. It doesn't care your political party. Absolutely not. You think that this is going to get in the hand? I don't know. I'm droning on now. It's very deeply upsetting. Any final thoughts before we move on to the next guest here?
The only thing I would like to add, Nick, is that this is why the work of a journalist is so important. Because if you don't report these things and you don't tell people why they matter, like people don't know really. The flat camera issue is a huge issue. Same with data centers. And the only thing this president has done from the beginning is saying that fake news, right? Like he's trying to break the confidence, the trust that people has in journalism. And
he's done a very effective job at it, Antonieta. He has done a fucking phenomenal job at basically taking morsels of truth, because there are journalists who do not move in good faith or are not willing to accept their own bias. At NVN here, we design our platform saying, hey, we are biased about certain things, but it doesn't mean that we cannot have a good faith exchange in ideas. This stuff is scary. I'm so grateful for the work that you guys are doing at Latino Power, Climate, and Acción. Plug yourself here really quick. How can we catch up more with your work? And then Dr. Desai will give you the final word.
Please, if you can connect to Climate Power on Instagram or on our website, Climate Power en Acción.
Wonderful. Dr. Desai, final words?
Good health starts in the community. We are seeing continuous threats of making that a reality forever and long-term in our future generation. This conversation is important and one of many, and I applaud your work too, Nick, as you know. And Antonieta, you taught me a lot in the last 30 minutes, so thank you for that.
Yeah, hey, it's not a roll over and die sort of issue. There's still, we could always use our voice, and things change with a roar. They do not change with a whisper. So go out there and use your voice. Chief Medical Correspondent for NVN, Dr. Desai, thank you so much. And Antonieta Cadiz, gracias a usted. We'll see you next time. We really appreciate it. We move on now and pivot here to our next guests. Talking about solo el pueblo salva el pueblo, only the people will save each other here. It has been the pueblo that has surrounded Ariel Whaley with love. Her husband taken into custody just a week after they celebrated their wedding. Officially exchanged their vows in May. And he had an immigration appointment coming up. One of his standard appointments that he had been going through ever since he crossed legally into the United States across the Texas border for asylum. Went through it in 2024. It's okay. 2025 got a little weird. And then in 2026, Ariel had a bad feeling. And he was taken into custody. And that's where he's been. He's been in the Moshana Valley Processing Center, which, hey, surprise, surprise, private prison owned by, you guessed it, Geo Group. They are here to make money off of people like Ariel and her family. And she joins us now live here on Nick Valencia Live, along with Ashley de Acevedo, who's done just such important work with American Families United. You're an American-born U.S. citizen, Ariel. He was taken into custody a week after you guys got married. He did everything the right way. You've seen the comments on this post. It's done very well. People say there must be something that we're missing here. Set the record straight here for us.
Yes, I've seen that come up quite a bit, not just in the post that you posted, but in other posts that I have made as well. And there really is not anything else you're missing. That is the well, I mean, obviously there's more to the story, but as far as him coming to the United States to seek asylum, and him going to all of the appointments that he was instructed to go to by ICE, those are the facts.
Did the rules just sort of change on him? I know there's so many complexities, and it feels like the immigration system is deliberately designed that way. He comes across here from Venezuela. We invade the country. There's all sorts of political conflict happening there. How much did that play into his current circumstances right now?
I I have had a feeling since January that the invasion into Venezuela and capture of Maduro would have an effect. I wasn't as tuned into what was happening for fear that it would affect me too much if I was paying attention too much to the news. But
Yeah.
I feel like there must be a reason why so many other people that he's met in detention have been Venezuelans. And nothing about his case specifically and like in the United States has changed to justify them detaining him illegally. So
Ashley Acevedo with American Families United. What kinds of cases are you seeing? How many of these kinds of cases are you seeing similar to what Ariel and her husband are going through?
It just feels like every day more and more and more deceptive tactics are being used. And I think if we track back to the part of the story that I find most remarkable, I shouldn't say most remarkable, very remarkable, is that he was taken in under these like false pretenses that the kiosk was broken. He went to his appointment, regularly scheduled appointment. They said, "Oh, no. We can't work with you today. You can't come in today. Our kiosk is broken. We need you to return on Saturday and bring an ID from your country of origin." Like
They're
it
lying.
just,
They're lying to people here, and they're
they are lying
luring
to
them in.
people, luring them in. This is a man who was following the law as it's written and married to a U.S. citizen, so now has more than one avenue ahead of him to remain in this country lawfully, like he is currently. And there's just this indefinite detention again. There is no from what I understand, again, like not lawyer, and I don't know intricate details of the legal side of his case, but it doesn't appear that there is an effort to remove him. I don't think he's
No,
actively in removal proceedings, so we're just detaining him, and Geo Group is making money. Our taxpayer money is paying for him to be detained for no reason. The man
off a
following the
guy
law.
who
And
he volunteers at a local food pantry.
Right.
Ariel.
That's how they met.
yeah, and so when he called me and to tell me that he was detained, he was told that he was going to be detained for 1 to 2 weeks, and 1 to 2 weeks until he could be presented in front of a judge for that judge to make a decision. And I remember asking him, "What decision did they tell you that they were going to make?" And he said they didn't say. And during the bond hearing, and during the process to get him out of detention, we learned that part of the reason, maybe the only reason why they detained him, was because there was available bed space at Shannon Valley Processing Center. So
Shannon
there was
Valley
no,
is
yeah.
privately owned, right? Geo Group owned, and he's there. No removal proceedings. His bond has been denied, but there's still a chance with his legal case here. You're still fighting it. Can you give me the clarity here? Because I think I made a little bit of an error in our initial reporting.
Not much of an error, just
Not
the
an
fact
error,
that
okay.
it is so confusing. I mean, there's I have been learning so much since he's been detained, but every day I feel like I'm learning a new thing, and I feel like immigration is purposely designed to confuse us, and Nelson nor I should feel like we have to be experts in immigration in order to understand the process of immigrating or understand what.
No,
But
and we can't help who we fall in love with. To this point, your
exactly.
first date, one of your first dates, you told me, was to a nice field office for one of his immigration appointment
Yes.
hearings. I mean,
Yeah.
you were all in at this point. At that
I
point, when
really
you traveled from, from where your hometown is, how long into Philadelphia to go, you were all in at that point.
yes I
I
was.
hate
Yeah.
to meet people like this in custody. We talk so much about people in custody and more and what they're going through. he's a person and he had a whole life, which is why we're here fighting to get him out of this circumstance. Tell me about who Nelson is. Tell me about the kind of guy he is.
Oh, I think everybody that I talk to says that he is the most positive, upbeat person. That is what drew me to him. He has such a big heart, and he's always cracking jokes. He's always the one to put himself at the center of attention in order to make everybody else feel more comfortable. He's constantly doing that at the food pantry that he works at, where he was volunteering at when we first met, because it's a very vulnerable place to be in if you're coming in to ask for free food. It's very, very vulnerable place, and so
And he
he's
was
always the
there
one.
because it reminded him of his home country, right? You were saying
Yes.
yeah, he was there to do right by people and add to the community and,
Yeah.
just be there. And
Yeah.
he was grateful to be there. I don't know how much more we can tug on the heartstrings of people here. Let's tug on the legality of this. Let's bring back
Yeah.
Ashley D'acevedo here, who joins us. Tell me, and really land the plane on this for those who are scratching their head and trying to do mental gymnastics as to why a guy like this is being held in custody. There must be some way. No, set the record. Be clear about what's happening in this circumstance.
I'm doing the mental gymnastics right along with everyone, because why would you detain this man? One of the things that Ariel shared with me about the bond hearing, the reason his bond was denied, they found that he was not a danger to the community, but that he was a flight risk, because being married to a U.S. citizen and having over 30 letters from community members of the place that you volunteer at a food pantry is not enough to show that you're a safe person to go through this process on the outside.
I
Again,
feel like they
this
just
is
make it up. To me,
they
what I
do. They
see,
change the
yeah,
rules as they go. And when
Yeah.
Ariel was saying it's so confusing, nobody knows what's going on, even the attorneys, because the rules change. This is all, there is no law, there's no statute. It's policies, and they change depending on the wind. And
yeah,
our lives are literally just hanging in the balance.
yeah. I mean, it's just, and people are very ruthless about how they care or don't care about this, even the legalities of it. They think, it's right. And it's so simple to look away because, hey, it's so much more complicated to get into the nuances of it all. What I was going to say, and we talked about this, Ariel, is as soon as there was quote unquote regime change in Venezuela, I knew there was going to be a revoking of TPS and an administration that was saying it's safe for tens of thousands of you to go back now. It's all good. We liberated your country. And it's kind of like that's where Nelson is and so many others. He started to hear people, his friends, being taken into custody leading up to the invasion. Speak on that.
Yeah. So
And TPS is temporary protected status for those that are wondering. Chad USA, among others. I'm sorry, I'm shorthanding things. TPS, temporary protected status. It's one of the designations that you get in immigration by immigration officials that help you live here in peace and harmony as you're adding value to the country. Go ahead, Ariel.
Right, and I mean TPS is something that was that Nelson had applied for, but I don't. Yeah, it would allow him to be able to have the ability to pay for the lawyers to argue his asylum case. And speaking about like the legality of things, is that during our bond hearing, the judge brought up his pending asylum case, and
is that allowed?
I don't know. I really don't know. But I figured, I was thinking, okay, this is the bond hearing. We are here to decide whether or not he should be in detention or he should be at home with me. And I don't see how anything in his asylum case, at least without a judge actually deciding on that asylum case, because it is still pending. I don't see why that has anything to do with what we are deciding with the evidence that we provided with the letters of support, saying how we had 30 letters of support from our community. That our lawyers said that is the most amount of letters that they have ever received, and they have been able to release other people on bond with just one.
I mean, look, it's the discretion of the feds who they want to hold and who they don't. They told the American public that they were going after the violent offenders and the violent criminals, and it's like zero tolerance. All of a sudden, anyone can get it, and they don't fucking care. And you know, you get comments like people who are just baiting here and want to rally up. Who knows if they're real? Who knows if they're real people? But it seems to be the same sort of lack of critical thinking skills here. This
Yeah.
is not okay.
And for people who are so concerned with the legality of things, I would like to tell you some of the evidence that suggests that the bond hearing we had was very unjust and frankly illegal, in my opinion. The judge restricted witnesses. We were not allowed. Our lawyer asked for witness testimony that was not allowed. Locked out virtual observers. Who this was a virtual hearing. I mean, you could go in person into the courthouse in Elizabeth, New Jersey, to observe it, but everybody was observing for our case online. They were locked out. They were not allowed to witness this hearing. Yeah, those are the main things. And we're bringing up the asylum case and the. And how the judge was rushing and interrupting Nelson's counsel.
You're lucky they gave you any time at all,
his
Ariel.
lawyer.
Honestly,
Yes.
being in these immigration hearings, having been in one as a journalist, I got the sense in the handful that I was in that the only reason that the judge paused his decision and didn't announce it in the court was because we were there, right? Otherwise, it would have just been like a rubber stamp kind of, hey, let's just move this along through the factory line. Ashley Decivita with the American Families United, Ariel Whaley, whose husband is currently being held in detention a week after they celebrated their wedding anniversary or wedding celebration here. You guys, as we wrap up this conversation here and try to get more amplification of your story, Ashley, I'll give you a final word here, and then we'll give you the final thoughts to Ariel.
Yeah. I just want to say, every time I'm on your show, it's because there is another case like this. And it is just not sustainable to keep doing these one by one, right? Like the policy needs to shift. The administration needs to make a decision about who they are detaining or allowing to be detained.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing good people being swept up in this system because of these random quotas. It is dangerous. It's dangerous. It's inhumane, and it's
They
got
are really
stop.
random too. Like, why 3,000? Just throw this out. Just throw this number out. It's just sort of like, and then the real,
We're just
the real
numbers.
people,
Yeah.
like your husband, Ariel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Final thoughts, Ariel. Anything that you'd like to say, or anything I haven't asked that you think is important to know? Now's your chance.
I mean, a lot of people have been asking how Nelson and I have been doing, and that is a very hard question to answer because honestly, we are not doing well. Nelson has a lot of, he is seeking asylum because of an authoritarian government, and him being detained is having a very heavy toll on his mental health. And he has a right to be here in the United States with me, be home with me. And he has a right to be protected from harm as well, from anything that he might it might happen to him if he were deported, or anything that might happen to him while he's in detention. So it really, like I said to you before, it has been a nightmare.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. If you want to hear more about her story, go to our social media. We put a story out there, Newlywed Husband Taken by ICE 1 week after wedding. It's all out there on our social media, on Instagram and on Facebook, and this conversation will live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Thank you guys so much for taking the time
Thanks,
with us. We
Nick.
really appreciate
Thank
you. And
you.
Ashley,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure I'll see you again soon,
Unfortunately, I
So-
think so.
Yeah. But you're doing such great work. Thank you. God bless you guys, both of you.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you soon. We really appreciate it.
Take care.
Ooh, man, that's I don't know. Let's get to the comments here. These lovely comments. Chad, you were baiting me earlier. Let's see. Here comes the MAGA talking point, blah, blah, blah. Coming out of Florida. Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, they aren't going after they're going after what did you say? They aren't going after criminals. No, they're certainly not. And it's a new bride, man. Should be honeymoon era. I remember we were broke as hell after we got married, but it was fun just to be there and know that we did it. And we got to celebrate in front of all of our friends and closest family. And we had a really small wedding. It was like 108 people. Got married in my wife's backyard. You know, something like this. I mean, love is love. You can't help who you fall in love with. And then you got to navigate this terrible immigration system where they, in this administration, it seems, they want to get rid of immigration. Punto. Period. It's not about illegal immigration. I mean, it's just not. It's just not. It's just not. There's no indication that, he's not talking about legal immigration when we have people in his defenders of the president that go on these cable news talk shows or on the internet and talk about what he's doing. And you have even people that are allegedly Democrats like Senator John Fetterman saying that, I haven't seen the president defy any court orders. What are you talking about? Every single day, ICE is defying court orders out in the streets when they're throwing and beating the shit out of people that look like me and you, or knocking on someone's door, breaking in without a warrant, or saying that they could pull a gun on somebody because you almost ran me over. How many ICE agents believe that they've almost been run over? How long did it take for Justin Ross to be back out on the streets after he pulled the trigger on Renee Good? Or the 2 ICE agents from the Rio Grande Valley who were involved in the death of Alex Pretty? I don't know, man. Hear that phrase on the internet, we made the wrong people famous. Like we gave the wrong people power. And for me, I don't know, man. Yeah, I've got some liberal leanings. I define my bias. I think the conversation on immigration should start at amnesty. And I know why it's not. It's because Republicans would never. Not only they would have to relinquish their boogeyman, but they might relinquish some races in the Arizona State House, Texas State House, California State House. They would never. And so we have to be okay with this, deal with this, normalize this. And then the intersection happens where we see the same technology that's popping up to spy on us and watch us. So it's the one that's being perfected every day by the ICE agents out there on the streets, where they can draw a line around a neighborhood and be like, hey, I know what you're doing and about to do next. Or you have Fortune 500 companies who absolve themselves of any sort of accountability because they are funding a police foundation for flock cameras to spy on their customers. But because they didn't install it, like when you blame the middle manager, the person up at the top never has to deal with the consequences because they never said anything. Fucking mob-esque, mafia-esque. It's all about covering your ass, man. It should be about the American people, should be about the American public. And I want to be clear, man, I'm not against law and order. I know that police officers, some of them are my friends, they have tough jobs. God bless our school resource officer. But I also know that what's being used and what's at their fingertips is not okay. And what we are becoming normalized and used to is not okay. The expansion of AI, the expansion of private equity and privatization of our companies and private prisons and all to make a buck. What happened to standing up for people? That's what we try to do here with our platform. Solo el pueblo salva al pueblo. Only the people save each other. I really, really mean that. For some of you guys who may be meeting me for the first time on here, I spent 20 years at the network and I never felt comfortable. Because to me, it wasn't so much a pervasive bias of liberal thought or idea that existed, but it was a pervasive bias of elitism. And that's what we're fighting here. That's what we're fighting here. That's what we're fighting against. People, small pocket of people that are making tons of money. Money machines is what President Trump calls data centers. And so even though there's this rising tide against them to not have them in our backyard or in our front yard or anywhere, they're still shoving them down our throat and telling us that this is what we're going to get used to, or we should get used to. Let's check in on the comments here on Substack. Flock cameras are the telescreen from the book 1984. Mainstream media is in an all-day 2 minutes hate. Adam, I haven't. Yeah, maybe I should read 1984. I actually went back in to watch and listen to the audio version of The People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. Um, M. Hope, thank you for being here. Really appreciate that. Carlos de la Valle in the chat. Carlitos, how are you? It's good to see you, man. Good to see you. And thank you guys. If you're watching from Pennsylvania or part of the network of the De La Valles, we're so grateful that we're connected with all of them. It's so cool. Angela De La Valle has just been such an instrumental force of nature in connecting us with families who have been impacted by President Trump's mass deportation policy. And it's important for you guys to continue to see these stories because it shows you, I believe, this journalist's opinion, that the government is not moving in good faith. It's not about law and order. Natalie Bensavenga, love that. If you guys want to go check out another great independent journalist, go check out her Substack show, Facts Over Fear. We're going to be on that show on August 17th. It's going to be really exciting. It's cool. And we got some big stuff coming up here. We're going to be back in Los Angeles here, August 21st. We'll be back in Los Angeles taping some new episodes for Crime and Justice, new show on the History Channel with Tom Selleck. Super excited to start that. You guys know I've been doing a lot of work with the History Channel over the last couple of years and definitely over the last year. So I'll be out there doing that. And we're also going to be talking about the launch of Contra ICE, working with Dali Colorado and Yuli from Ozo Motley and Lalo Alcaraz, the great Latino cartoonist. We've got a big album coming out, so I'll be out there. We're going to have a special, probably Friday edition of a show, live stream that, get that out there. And I am really, really, really excited to you and Magnum PI. Oh, is that because you don't like my I like my jacket, okay? You make fun of me. It's okay. I heard from Charlie that you want to get to a point. Charlie was 2 Chainz manager. You want to get to a point where people can dress up as you as Halloween. So I was doing the whole man in black thing for a little while, but it's been the beige coat for a little while. I'm really excited I got sidetracked there. I'm really excited to announce that we're going to be, oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, Tom Selleck, Magnum PI. Sorry. I'm sorry about that. God, I'm so dense. Yes, Tom Selleck, new History Channel show. It launches. I am going to be chilling with Magnum PI. Yes, sorry about that. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm really excited to announce that we are entering a partnership with a team I greatly admire. Giovanni Diaz is one of the best immigration attorneys in the country. Zach Gaeta is his partner, and we are, NVN, Nick Valencia News, is entering a 6-month partnership sponsorship with Giovanni Diaz and Zach Gaeta of the Diaz Gaeta Law Firm. Yay! That deserves a round of applause. Not that we weren't expecting to be in this for the long haul, but this secures, it's going to mean that we're definitely going to be here for a while longer. So I'm so grateful that we've been able to grow this platform and that we have some people now that believe in us. I've been really judicious about who I've decided to partner with and do work with. I've been reached out by everyone from the Israeli government to the DNC to your local vape shop and skincare line. No skincare routine, just a ring light. And I believe this when I say it, and I want you guys to believe it too, because it's true that there is no special interest or corporate money coming this way. It is truly my wife and myself. Natalie Hernandez helps us with the chat and is a spiritual advisor and advocate. And, I believe in that 4th dimension. She is locked in. I can't begin to tell you how small of a team this is. This is not, I don't know, man. Things happen for us, not to us. And I could cry if I really think about it enough here, about just how much of a road that we've trudged to get to this point, to continue on with our mission, to show up and to use our privileges and to step up into this space as a remedy to what we see is out there. You guys are here. We're meeting a moment. There's a moment to meet. You're right here on your phones. That's where we're going to meet you. That's where we're going to meet you. And so we're going to continue to do this. Shout out to the Diaz and Gaeta Law Firm. We're really excited about entering a partnership with you guys. And we should also announce that we're going to be doing some, also signed a deal with Ground News. So 2 really big announcements here at NVN. We have the Diaz Gaeta Law Firm, who we're going to enter a sponsorship with, and we're also going to do some work, some collaborations with Ground News. I respect them a lot and what they've done, and they partner with some really great people, independent journalists. They're all about showcasing articles and really being transparent as to which way they lean. They give a percentage breakdown. We'll get into all of that. I don't want to give away too much of what we're going to be doing. All that starts in September, and we can't wait to bring that to you, man. Really, really excited about all that stuff. So shout out again. Give the round of applause. I don't care how lame that is. It's pretty cool. I mean, when Rach and I were in that meeting, I walked out, and I'm just like, I'm so emotional. I'm so like cheesy anyway. I love rom-coms. And I'm just like, how cool is it that we as a husband and wife are here pitching this, and it's us, it's so cool. I want to leave you with this here. I was just in Huntsville, Alabama, where I did some work speaking for Not One More Alabama about my recovery. I'm 5.5 years sober. Let me get this sober counter here so you guys know as I wrap this show up here. It's really cool to like kind of reflect and see how far I've come. Where is this here? Of course, I can't pull it up quickly. You know why? Because they changed their interface. 5 years, 6 months, 24 days, 6 hours, 57 minutes. It's pretty cool, man. It's crazy. It's a day at a time, and it's a disease. And that may be something that you guys are unaware of, but addiction and alcoholism is a disease. And I think it takes a lot of people a necessity to put aside the shame and embarrassment about that. And for this next story that I'm about to show you guys that we put out on Instagram this morning, this is the story of the Martins. This is a kid who knew that there was something more out there for him. He's been clean and sober for a year. And this is the story of Ben Martin and his parents.
I don't want to hear from you unless it's an absolute emergency. Please stop texting me, stop bothering me. I can't stand this.
This wasn't him. This is not my kid. I am the mom to a son that is 1 year clean, sober.
I'm the son. I'm Ben. I'm 22 years old. I'm 1 year clean and sober. I didn't speak to him for about 8 months, and then he was sending me Bible messages and trying to get through to me, and just got to the point where it was like, I need help.
What was so hard about when he was in addiction was wondering where our kid went. And you don't know. My name is Jeremy Martin. I'm a father of a son who's in recovery.
I was in heavy addiction all throughout middle school, high school. I had a baby when I was 19. I was pursuing the wrong path. I wasn't being a good son. After a while of doing all that, it kind of eats at you. I just know that I was meant for more.
Somebody calls you and tells you your son's in addiction and he needs help. And it's like, well, where do I go? You're a family member of him, then you technically need to go through recovery also. It took its toll on you, and seeing him come back now is like, we can't help that person recover if we haven't recovered. And it's not your fault.
Seems like you're pretty aware that this is a disease. I've learned that, to not have that shame. What about you guys?
Searching for a reason why. It kind of gave us that reason why. Oh, this is why this happened, or this is what this was. This wasn't him. This is not my kid.
If you really, really, really want to get help, the best thing you can do is network through other people who are struggling through the same things you are, and learn the lessons, learn the things they can teach you.
And I think I would say to let go of the shame, to let go of the stigma that it's okay to talk about, because there are so many others that do go through it.
You know, when I'm out here helping other people, I don't think about my problems as much. To tell you the truth, I've never thought this would be possible.
You see the real him now. That's got to be something beautiful.
It's great. It's great.
God bless that mom, man. It's really powerful to see somebody work in the steps and work in the program. Thank you guys, Adam and Elena. Shout out to Michigan. Our viewers in Michigan, shout out to Adam, wherever you're watching from. Thanks, Natalie, for sending me a message that people are hollering at me. Hello from Michigan, so awesome. Thanks for saying that, guys. Thanks for being proud of me. It's the most honest work I've ever done in my life, is putting down the bottle, man. God, we had a great show today. We talked about data centers, AI, talked about this stuff that wasn't part of our water cooler conversation a year ago. Now it's part of our conversation about our future of water, using clean water to deal with these data centers. We talked to a newlywed who should be celebrating her honeymoon, and yet her husband's in ICE custody. God, Thank you guys to everyone who's watching this on replay, who is watching this on Facebook, Substack, YouTube, wherever you get your Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, anywhere, man. Thank you guys for watching us. And also, should have done this at the beginning, man. Thank you to Closer to the Edge, Rook T. Winchester out there. Did you guys see? They said that the managing editor over there, Rook T. Winchester, that he has gone MIA and that he's living among the meese. I don't know, man. That guy's like so gonzo. Closer to the edge.net, Rook T. Winchester, good buddy of mine. I talked to him last night. He's okay. Love him. Love you guys. Thanks for making me feel seen. And also, thank you to this young lady here, Skylar. Skylar is doing a piece on, not a piece, but a research project. She is doing her grad school research paper on independent journalism, and that's us here in my backyard this morning. She was interviewing me here for her research paper for UNC. There's people out there, man, they believe that NVN is transforming journalism, and it's just so fucking cool. I cannot get over it. Thank you guys. Swaggy McTorso for your comments. Everybody who's tapping in. We had a great live stream today. Hundreds of you guys watch on YouTube. I was watching on Facebook. Oktoberfest in Huntsville, is that a thing? Okay. One day at a time, Sharon, one day at a time. Swaggy McTorso calling me a liar. That was just a reflex? Okay. It is outstanding news, though. And if you guys missed that, Tom Selleck, History Channel, doing stuff with him. New show. I'm out of here, guys. I'm blabbing now. Take care. We'll see you later. I love those of you guys that stay on a little extra just to see what we've done today. Thank you to Natalie Hernandez, as always, man. All the stuff that you're doing. You're just phenomenal. Linda, Joe, Adam in Chicago, Mrs. G. Who else? Adam, man, you really were so engaged in the chat today, man. Thank you. Send me your email, nick@nickvalencianews.com, man. I'd love to connect with you. This is the type of community that we're building here. I'd love to know more about you guys. Who's really rocking with us like that? If you're so engaged, you got to be caring about some of the same stuff I care about. So email me, man. Hit me guys. You guys hit me up. nick@nickvalencianews.com. Thank you, Angela De La Valle, Carlos De La Valle, Blue America, Lydia Page. Wouldn't be a show without Lydia Page. Carolyn, Angelina Isaac, ST. Make sure to like, subscribe, stay engaged, keep the conversation going. You got it, Natalie. See you on Thursday.